I do want to talk about Virgil van Dijk, of course, the big story. His injury, meaning he's probably out for the rest of the season. Stevie, it's the first time we've been on. Your reaction and how this will affect Liverpool's title chances?
Well, I think my reaction is like 99% of everybody else. It was should have been a red card on Pickford, first and foremost. As far as how it affects Liverpool, well, I think we know how it's going to affect Liverpool. You know, before they signed him and Alisson, Liverpool could score plenty of goals, were strong in the middle of the park, but couldn't defend, and certainly couldn't defend against teams who were breaking on them. So the fact that Virgil van Dijk is now out for the rest of the season, I think the only thing we can foresee is Liverpool struggling with teams countering against them. And of course, you talk about Virgil van Dijk, you add Alisson to that, because those two players were the catalyst for Liverpool stepping up to a completely different zone in terms of what the team was all about. So I think we know what's going to come. It just depends whether Liverpool can outscore teams every time they step on the field.
So if I was to ask you for your prediction now, Stevie, who would win the title, would you change your mind from Liverpool?
I would say there's probably 4 teams who are going to duke it out, and it's difficult. You could find an argument for and against why one of these 4 teams could win. So yeah, I still think Liverpool can still win the Premier League, yes, but I'm certainly not anywhere as close to being comfortable as I was certainly this time last week.
Would you share those 4 teams, or is it a secret?
No, not at all. I think Liverpool, City, Tottenham and Chelsea, for me, are the 4 sides that are going to be competing for this title. And right now, after 4 games, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to look, and well, it's tough to think that anybody else can join that 4. Put it that way. And I think those 4 sides, there's not an awful lot between them.
Everton fans would suggest that they've done enough at the start of this season to be in that conversation, Stevie, especially given, let's not forget, Ancelotti's side don't have any European complications this season.
No, absolutely no doubt. That is a huge lift for any Everton fan that they don't have that. Listen, the likes of Leicester, I think that's probably why they ended up winning the Premier League, because they could just play from week to week and get plenty of rest. It's far too early to start talking about Everton competing for the Premier League Championship. You know, if anything, I think we can talk about trying to challenge for the top 5 or 6.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it is 4 games, and yes, they have been impressive, but it's 4 games. You know, you can't go from the bottom of the table pretty much, or it's very unusual to go from the bottom of the table and sit at the top of the Premier League for the season. I don't see it happening, but yes, they'll be settling the top half of the table.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.